Menno de Long, who joins us all the way via Zoom, and I believe it's 6:30 in the morning in Saudi Arabia. He's the Director of Digital Delivery, and Menno has helped position NEOM as a leader in digital design and delivery in the international construction company. It feels like COVID times again as we're zooming in with a hybrid modality here. So I'd like you to please pay attention to the screen and welcome Menno. Thank you. You're allowed to clap, by the way.
Thank you all. Yes, I'm speaking to you here from Saudi Arabia in the northwestern part of Saudi Arabia. I mean NEOM, talking to you from NEOM in the northwestern part of Saudi Arabia. My name is Menno de Jonge, Director Digital Delivery for NEOM. In my presentation, I will explain what NEOM is all about, and of course will mainly focus on our digital ambition and our ambition in which we shorten with 3 words, being fast, modular, and green. It's all about being fast, meeting our tight deadlines. It's about being modular to also meet our tight deadlines, and at the same time being green, being very sustainable, circular, etc., etc. And this is all supported by digital technologies. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. It is 6:30 in the morning here. So I just had a cup of coffee and some breakfast when you were enjoying your lunch. For me, it is very important to also explain to you why I was not able to join you in person in Australia, which I'd love to do. But as I said before, because of the tight deadlines we have, I just could not get the week out of the business honored by my management, and had to decide to stay in NEOM to do my work and get things done. So that's what's it all about in NEOM. On the slide, you see some of the background of the natural environment in NEOM. We are in a beautiful environment. It almost is as beautiful as Australia. You see here some of our coastline on the Red Sea with one of the very beautiful undiscovered coral reefs, a lot of marine sea life, and also the area around where we are building at the moment is just pristine and very, very, very nice. Let me start introducing myself a little bit. My name is, as I said, Menno de Jonge. I have a background in engineering. I studied civil engineering in college and continued at university focusing on building engineering. My main interest during university started to focus on the area of IT in construction. In the end of the 80s of the last century, first IBM PCs were introduced in the industry, and the first versions of CAD software, the AutoCAD software, were introduced in the industry. And for me, that was a very interesting topic to study. And I did my final thesis on delivering a computer-aided solution, a parametric design solution for completely automatically designing a reinforced slab in an office building, which was quite special at that time during the late 80s. And after that, I started working at a company called NEOM in the Netherlands, internationally operating construction company, where I started as a computer-aided design specialist. And during my career, as you can see on the right of this slide, have been working at Autodesk for a couple of years, and another long period as digital construction director at Royal BAM Group. During my career, I went through all these digital transformations that we're talking about. So at NEOM, the first transformation was moving away from the drawing board to the first 2D computer-aided design software applications. Next transition was moving from 2D to 3D computer-aided design or 3D modeling. Then slowly we started moving into the area of BIM. At that time, the term BIM was not around yet, so it was something that we haven't heard about, but we're already at Ballas Nedam playing with the first BIM solutions in our company. So linking 3D models to schedules, extracting quantities and costs out of our 3D models. These kind of things were done in the mid 90s of the last century at Ballas Nedam. After 25 years in Ballas Nedam, I moved to Autodesk, worked with them as a business developer for almost 3 years. And after that, moved to Royal BAM Group, where I was responsible for their digital transformation, and worked with them for almost 6 years. Then moved to a client-based organization, so always have been working on the contractor side, then moved to a client side in Saudi Arabia with NEOM, and I'm responsible here for digital delivery. So that's my background. And during this career, there has been a lot of progress in the area of digital transformation. And these images are just some images of my most recent company, Royal BAM Group in the Netherlands. By the way, Royal BAM is also active in Australia on a number of projects. You might have come across that company. But on this slide, you see some of the projects that we did in Europe and also in the Middle East. The image on the top right, the Museum of the Future in Dubai, which is probably, before NEOM, probably the most complex project that had to be delivered. A donut-shaped structure with a facade holding a Arab poem. So very complex to build. All done in using BIM technologies during design, but also during execution. A project on the top left of the screen, a depot for a museum in the city of Rotterdam in the Netherlands with a mirrored facade. We will do a similar thing in NEOM also, where we will build a line, but also a completely mirror facade. This one is also, the project here in Rotterdam is shaped in a circular way. They also call it the teacup or the coffee cup in the city of Rotterdam. Very complex building, which would have never been possible to build without digital tools. Without going into too much detail, bottom left, a project which was highly industrialized using modular technologies. We used a so-called jumping factory in that project. The structure at the top of this building is the factory, and this factory was moving with the building when we finished one floor. So the jumping factory moved one floor to the top, and all the prefabricated elements were installed in that jumping factory on this building. Bottom in the middle, a project on the Antarctics, where we built a research center for the British Antarctic Survey. Very complex project, or I should say a very simple project, but the environmental and logistic challenges were complex. No hardware store around the corner, so planning the whole logistics was a very difficult and important task, all supported also by digital technologies. And finally, on the bottom right, our 3D concrete printing factory in the Netherlands, where we started to innovate printing 3D concrete assets for projects in the Netherlands. We built the first concrete 3D printed bridge in the Netherlands, built houses and all these kind of technologies. So spectacular. And during these projects, a lot of these digital technologies were used. Top left, you see some applications of AR and VR in the area of progress planning, progress monitoring. Top right, similar activities in the Museum of the Future, where we did a daily 3D scan of the building to monitor progress and to to prevent mistakes that would hinder the process in the next day. 4D modeling technologies in the factory, jumping factory in Rotterdam, in this residential tower. And at the bottom, in the middle, you see the work we did for the Antarctic research facilities, where we developed a complete gaming environment for our workers. And using this game environment, they were trained in the UK and the Netherlands to fully understand circumstances that they would encounter in the Antarctic. So they were fully prepared with the work they needed to do at that location. So a lot of these different kind of examples where we use digital technologies to make these projects successful. But let's move to NEOM. In the background, another picture of the landscape here. And I stress the importance of the landscape in NEOM. And I will talk later a little bit about the fact that we will only build up 5% of the area of NEOM, and the rest will stay in its natural status. So, when people think about Saudi Arabia or the Middle East, most of the time people think about deserts and sand dunes. But looking at these kind of pictures, this is actually what you find out here. Spectacular rock formations. Looks a little bit like parts of Australia probably, or the west coast of the US. Beautiful landscape. So NEOM is what we call a sustainable region in the northwestern part of Saudi Arabia. It's a huge area, and it's what we mention, or we say it's ideally located at the crossroads of the world. We're on the Red Sea coast, which goes into the Suez Canal. So through the Suez Canal in Egypt, we can easily reach Europe, which is relatively close. 40% of the globe lives within a 6-hour flight from NEOM. So we would like to say that we are very centrally located. And NEOM is being built up from the ground up, to include regions like the Line, Oxygen, and Trojena. And we'll talk about that a little bit in more detail later. I already talked about these world trade flows that go through the Red Sea. It's about 13% of the trade flows go through the Red Sea, but that's amazing. And the area of NEOM is also spectacular. Not a lot of people might know the country of Belgium, but we compare ourselves to the size of the country of Belgium, and the total square kilometers in NEOM is 26.5 thousand square kilometers. So this is an ideal location, which is completely untouched at the moment, to develop the new future. NEOM will also be a state in a state. We will develop a completely business-friendly and progressive best practice regulatory environment. So we will have different rules and regulations from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And it will be a country in a country, like Hong Kong or Macau or these kind of places. It will be supported by a digital backbone, which is currently built, the most advanced networks, Wi-Fi, cloud-based environments, IT backbones, etc., is being built at the moment all across NEOM. We will be powered by 100% renewable energy, working on solar, wind, and hydrogen plants across NEOM, and NEOM will be powered 100% by renewable energy. And as I said before, 95% of the area of the 26.5 thousand square kilometers will be set aside for nature. So only 5% will be built up. This 5% is still a huge task, talking about budgets or turnover of around $1 trillion. So it's a huge amount of an unprecedented scale of this project. And our vision is that we will be the land of the future, where the greatest minds and best talents are empowered to embody pioneering ideas and exceed boundaries in a world inspired by imagination. So it is really this future-like vision where we will build this cognitive city, a self-learning, self-instructing city or a cognitive city in this part of the world. NEOM is also a global opportunity to redefine livability, redefine business, and redefine conservation. There will be a complete different way approach to livability. The line is a 170 kilometer or 100 mile linear city, 500 meters high, 200 meters wide, two blades with some sort of a man-created canyon between those two blades, which will create a complete new form of human civilization. And it will be in harmony with nature and one another. Also within the line, there will only be public transport. So trains, high-speed trains, metro systems, flying taxis. There will be no cars in the city, just public transport using standard public transport possibilities. Business will be refined. There will be a complete new way of working in the line and in other parts of NEOM. And as I said before, we will focus a lot on regenerating and nurturing nature. Currently, we're replanting a lot of the traditional trees or the autonomous trees how do you call that? The trees that were located in this area a long time ago, all being replanted at the moment. And also wildlife that used to be around here is being reintroduced in NEOM. NEOM is not only about building a large new part of the kingdom, a large new city and industries. It's also about diversifying the economy of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Currently, Saudi Arabia is mainly dependent on their income on oil and gas, and that will be a revenue stream that will not be sustainable future-wise. So the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia has introduced this vision 2030 to diversify the economy of the kingdom. One of the main part of NEOM is that we have developed a number of sectors and industries that will develop these new economies. So we have sectors, as mentioned on this slide, like a tourism sector, a sports sector, and health and well-being sector, an energy sector, a water sector, all here to develop these new industries, new ways of working, and new value streams and new economies. My role is embedded in the design and construction sector, which you see at the bottom of this slide, the third one from the left. So the design and construction sector is one of the sectors in NEOM that is meant to develop new economies or new value streams in the area of design and construction. So we will start building new companies in the area of design and construction that will work to deliver NEOM, but also will work to deliver other mega projects in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in the future possibly also rebuild Syria or Ukraine or export their activities to Africa, for example. So that's an important part of NEOM, these sectors. But what is really visible in NEOM is the projects that we're working on. And we refer to these projects as regions. And currently 3 main regions have been introduced to the world. A lot of marketing efforts, a lot of videos, and have been shared with the world. And these 3 regions have been introduced to the world. The line, which is this linear cognitive city of 100 miles, starting in the Red Sea coast with the cantilever sticking out into the Red Sea, all the way up to the city of Tabuk, which is about 170 kilometers. As I said, 500 meters high, 200 meters wide, with a completely mirrored facade, as you can see on this slide, blending into the natural landscape. In the south part of NEOM, we are building a industrial innovation city. We call this Oxagon. So Oxagon will be a manufacturing and innovation city. There will be It will be partly floating in the Red Sea, as you can see on this image, and partly on land. So that will be our main industrial hub for NEOM, where a lot of industries will be located to also diversify this economy. And then the region on the right is Trojena, which will be our sustainable year-round mountain tourism destination. They won the Asia Pacific Winter Games in 2029. So this region, this project has to be finished by something like 2027 to be able to host these Asian Pacific Winter Games in 2029. So this is all real. There's a lot of nice videos and images out there, but NEOM is real, and we are really heavily working on building these projects. You can also see that on this timeline. The whole thing started somewhere in 2017, just a couple of years ago, where the vision was approved and NEOM was announced. Have been working on the strategy and on incorporating NEOM as a company. The first project that was delivered was NEOM Bay Airport, which is an airport that most of our residents here in NEOM use to fly into NEOM with direct flights to London Heathrow, Dubai, those kind of places. And from there, in the last couple of years, a lot of things happened with signing major deals on, for example, green hydrogen and desalination plants. And construction really started in 2020. Currently, if you travel around the area of NEOM, you mainly see a lot of supporting works, construction roads that are being built. Most of them have been delivered. Worker camps and compounds for our workers that have been delivered, and a lot of excavation work that is currently being done. And if you fly over NEOM in a helicopter, you can already see how the line and other parts of the project will be delivered. Different regions have been introduced in the recent years, and at the bottom right of this slide, you will see Sindala Island, which will be the first project that will open its doors in 2024, early 2024. And it is a tourist destination with a marina and a golf course and 5-star hotels that will be open to the public early next year. So NEOM is real. But we have a huge challenge to make all this happen. We want to build the world's most advanced design and construction economy. And here I'm talking about the charter and the principles of the design and construction sector. This is what we want to create in NEOM. And we want to deliver about 10% of the GDP of the state of NEOM. Within this design and construction sector, we have a number of pillars on which we are focusing. So it is all about digital design and construction in the middle of this slide, which is the pillar I'm responsible for. But we're also heavily focusing on what we call industrial design or industrialized design and construction, which is all about off-site manufacturing or modular or modern methods of construction. We have a pillar focused on material supply, cementitious, steel, and other kind of materials, because we need a huge amount of materials to build NEOM. There is an important pillar on construction technology efficiency, working to work on the most efficient use of construction equipment. Also introduce autonomous equipment into the project. And a very important pillar is also on worker transformation, where we want to introduce the most advanced circumstances for workers in NEOM. Safe environment, healthy environment, the most best standards for workers in NEOM. So the design and construction sector has a number of objectives listed here. I won't go into detail because of time. It's all about experience, worker welfare, reducing costs, reducing project delivery time, while at the same time also having a high standard of project quality, sustainability, focus a lot on innovation in the industry, and also develop the local Saudi content in economy. Also employing a lot of local Saudi employees in our departments. And we are focusing on long-term thinking. We are fully supporting all the projects in NEOM at the moment, but at the same time focus on long-term thinking. We want to be a sector that drives whole-scale transformation of the industry at NEOM for the kingdom and at a later moment in time also globally. This new sector is being designed including a full value chain economy, so working closely with a lot of delivery partners, design delivery partners, suppliers, to act as a construction hub for companies in NEOM and Saudi Arabia. And at that time, we are also closely working together with all other sectors in NEOM, working closely to our technology and digital sector, working closely with our energy and water sector, etc., etc. And this long-term vision is supported with a short-term focus to deliver our projects, where we are focusing on being fast, being green, supported using digital technologies and local content, and having the highest standards in the area of worker welfare. And to make this happen, to become this groundbreaking design and construction sector, we have to transform everything that we do. And this is the most challenging part that is out there. And we need to collaborate with global industry leaders and local partners. Otherwise, we will never succeed in this ambition. We see ourselves as the key integrator in NEOM. I did talk about a little bit about our NEOM organizations with our regions, our projects, and our sectors, as you can see on the left. We also have our investment fund, our NEOM investment fund, that is funded by our Saudi Public Investment Fund, PIF. So that is the left side of this picture. And design and construction sector is at the same time working closely to the marketplace, to our external market, to the supply chain, to our industry collaborators, contractors, which are also referenced as our NEOM ecosystem. So we're in the center of this, working together with our NEOM organization and with the whole NEOM ecosystem. And our challenge is that we are in a location somewhere in the northwestern part of Saudi. If you drive around here, it does sometimes look like you're on Mars or on the moon. Nothing out here, a completely empty part of the kingdom. No hardware shops around the corner. Very difficult to get all your materials and logistics in place. And in here, we are meant to build the most technically advanced and sustainable region in line with Saudi Vision 2030. And we will want to do that in a fully circular, innovation-based way. And our first project, as I said before, has to be delivered by early 2024. So we need to do things completely different. We need to pioneer fourth industrial revolution technologies. We want to create the largest and most advanced industrialized construction ecosystem in the world. And at the same time, give our workers the best treatment and deploy and leverage best practices for our workers. And if you look at the state of the industry, and many of you might have seen this slide before, it's a slide from a couple of years ago developed by McKinsey, where looking at the digitization index in different industries and the productivity growth in different industries, the construction industry is at the lower left corner bottom of this slide, being the worst performing industry across all industries on looking at digitization index and productivity growth. So we really need to upskill our industry and improve our industry to really make this happen, to make a project like NEOM happen. And we need to close the gap on construction 4.0. We need to move from into completely new ways of working, using the connectivity, fourth industrialized revolution ways of working. And for that, we have developed this vision which we call the NEOM whole life cycle digital twin approach, where we have identified 6 main steps in our vision, where the first 3 steps are really focused around the digital state of our projects, and the second 3 steps are mainly focused around the physical state of our projects. So we build our project in a digital way before we build our project in a physical way. So we build it before we build it. So starting with scanning the current environment in a digital way, using drone technologies, using satellite imagery, using 3D scanning technologies, etc., scanning the current environment, using that as an underlayer to design the new situation, using parameters, using parametric design, generative design, all these kind of technologies are being used to design the new city. Then we will start simulating this design, looking at schedule, looking at cost, looking at logistics, opportunities for industrialization of our projects, looking at people flow, lighting, sustainability, etc., etc. All this simulation work is still being done in this digital state. Then we have created our most optimal design. We call that our digital master. And from there, we will move into our physical state of the project. We will start to produce as many assets as possible in a manufacturing style in factories, manufacture components, assemblies, sub-assemblies, for MAP, for walls, floors, etc., fully 3D modular components, all produced in factories, which will then be transported to the construction site using standard logistic processes, but also lifting systems using helicopters and other kinds of transportation modes, and assemble those components on site, on the construction site, into their end state. And we will then develop our digital twin, which we will use to move into the last phase of the circular process to operate and maintain our cognitive city. In the center, we have our data environment, or our digital construction engine, as we call it, or you could also refer to it as a common data environment, which stores and collects all data that is being produced across all these steps of this whole lifecycle digital twin approach. And as we know, as we've seen in previous projects, we can digitize everything. This is an example of the Museum of the Future, a very complex building. We can do this, design this project in a digital way, and support the execution phase or delivery phase of these projects also in a fully digital way. And to deliver this future of construction, we have to transform from this very traditional way of working to a complete new way of working, using all these digital and industrialized technologies. A new approach to improve data, improve safety, increase technology on site, and change the role of the worker at every stage of the project. So it's about mass modular construction factories, about investing in tech and digital-based design and engineering companies. It's about partnerships, setting up partnerships, about introducing innovative approaches in construction robotics and 3D printing. I will talk a little bit about that later, etc., etc. And we will become a groundbreaking sector that needs to rapidly transform everything we do in collaboration with the global industry leaders and local partners, as I said before. This slide, I'm coming toward the end of my presentation. This slide gives a little bit about the vision that we have built in recent year and are currently implementing, where our vision is that we advance human progress through the world's leading digitally enabled D&C economy. Of course, we have set a number of metrics on which we measure ourselves, and we have a focus defined in 3 pillars, supported by technology and supported by a number of enablers. So these 3 pillars are all about building a new digital design and construction economy, where we have introduced a Comtech attraction scheme, where we attract startups in from across the world to open their business in NEOM and scale their business as a startup using the unprecedented scale of the NEOM projects. We are in the second pillar supporting NEOM as a digital client, where we want to be the most advanced digital client in the world. And the third pillar is really about supporting the whole NEOM ecosystem, working with all our contractors, subcontractors, delivery partners, etc., to upskill them in their digital skills. This is all supported by digital platforms, by technology platforms, and supported by our organization enablers. Especially the bottom layer is, for me, the most important part, because I would also like to stress the importance of the triangle of people, process, and technology. So most of the times, companies that are focused on digital transformation are mainly looking at the technologies, introducing 3D modeling, robots, VR and AR headsets, etc. But the most important is about the process side of things, re-engineering your processes, thinking in a new way to deliver these digital transformation. And for me, the most important, the ultimate focus should be on the people side of things. Topics like change management, educating, upskilling your workers and your employees in your companies is the most important equation in the whole thing to make a digital transformation successful. To give you a bit of an insight in what we're doing in these three pillars, I talked about this contact setup that we did, attracting startups in NEOM. We are now working with a number of startups that I can talk to you about in the next couple of slides. Digital at NEOM, where we developed our digital plan of work with a lot of use cases that are being implemented into NEOM. We have set up our BIM audit units. We are developing control rooms and digital twin caves in NEOM. And on the right side, some of the examples of tooling that we are introducing for our digital ecosystem, like maturity measurement systems to assess the maturity of digital across the ecosystem, supported by training academies or transformation academies, as we call them now. And we have developed a lot of tooling into the industry to support and upskill their digital ways of working. And to give two examples of what we are currently heavily focused on is in the area of robotics. We see a huge opportunity to apply robotics in our industry, and we are currently focused on two main topics. Robotics to produce steel rebar reinforcement cages, and the second one is on 3D construction printing. And to just give you a little bit of insight in what we're doing here, working with a number of startups from across the globe, bringing them to NEOM to scale their business. Companies like Toggle and others are starting to open their business in NEOM, and in this case to produce fully automated rebar cage assembly methods. So this is about cutting, bending, and welding steel cages that will be used in the NEOM The Line project. So it's the world's first application of advanced technology for the design and construction sector at scale. And to give you a bit of insight in the scale of NEOM, looking at rebar, we're talking about 30 million tons of rebar to be used by 2030, so in the coming couple of years. And the only way to really make this happen, we need this super fast, highly industrialized, supported, highly industrialized environment supported by digitized processes. And we need more automation with less labor to really make this all happen. We want to increase productivity by 10 times using this ARCA environment. Manual labor will be reduced by 75%, and also material will be reduced by 20% because we have a very efficient design process and will reduce waste by 20%. The second project I would like to focus on is 3D construction printing, where we are looking into different kind of materials. You see some examples here of concrete 3D printing, but also of polymer, the use of polymers in the area of 3D construction printing. Both are being applied at the moment in NEOM, where we see also huge operational efficiency and time savings. First of all, because we will take out a number of the steps about the traditional process. We don't need formwork, and we don't need to we don't have to remove the formwork at the end of the process, and we will reduce time heavily to be at least 10 times more efficient. Here also added a number at the bottom of the slide on the bottom right. By 2030, we estimate that we can do about 2 million cubic meters of concrete assets to be 3D printed. And that's only concrete. And there will be a lot of other kind of materials that will be used in the 3D printing processes. Just some examples. These are metals that can be 3D printed much faster than in the traditional way to really increase efficiency. Also, design quality and sustainability will be a main focus in this space. Using these 3D printing technologies, we can reuse about 50% of our materials. And with that, I think I am a little bit over time. Sorry for that, but I would like to thank you for your attention, and I hope I have been able to give you a good impression of NEOM and our digital adventure, our digital ambition, and our challenge that we have in this part of the world. Thank you.